Nobody wins when the family feels.
Into a murder of a 16-year-old high school football player from Grenada, Mississippi.
Crime in Grenada, Mississippi, where a popular 16-year-old football player is murdered and 4 juveniles are facing charges connected to the teen's death.
Our mayor, our city manager, this police department, elected officials, the sheriff department.
Chief Douglas not losing sight of the fact that Aiden Reno's death comes just 2 weeks after Delta State University freshman Trey Reed, also from Grenada, was found dead hanging from a tree on the campus of Delta State University. Tuesday's preliminary hearing providing little comfort for the victim's mother.
Everybody in there can look at their child, their brother. I can't look at mine.
Courtney, it is alleged Reno was attempting to take a weapon from one of the suspects when shots were fired. Investigators say Reno had a weapon in each hand when he was found. Reno's mother trying to process Tuesday's testimony.
We're holding up good because God gets the last say. We don't have no power. My son shouldn't have did what he did, but he didn't deserve to die. God gets the last say.
Fam, this video won't take long at all, but this video right here is an example of what not to do. I know a lot of times we cover stories where somebody just at the wrong place at the wrong time, or not even the intended target. But in today's story, it's different. We're talking about a situation where the alleged aggressor ended up being the alleged victim. But stay with me, fam, because this incident also involved a high school football player. What makes this even more crazier is, of course, last episode, we talked about multiple homecoming events being shot up. In Mississippi, one happened during a football game. Now, since then, multiple people has been arrested, and I figure we'll later discuss in this video as well. But even though we don't know the trickle-down effect with that situation to the mass shootings, even if it is one, because of the similarities and in the same state, I figure we bring it to you guys' attention. Not to mention the details in this case alone was mind-boggling. We're talking about a young man who, according to his parents, was an outstanding athlete in high school. But according to police, a couple weeks after he lost his life, the witnesses say he lost his life trying to rob his own friends, allegedly, which we'll later discuss. And according to authorities, I'll let you know out the gate, this man died with 2 firearms, one on each side. We don't know if it was planned, and we don't know if that's the truth. But we are here to go over the black and white while paying our respects, and hopefully somebody can learn from this. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Now, before we get into the details of the incident, let's talk about where we're going to today. Grenada, Mississippi. You see, Grenada sits in the middle of north central Mississippi, between Memphis and Jackson, 2 major cities that have been shaping the culture, the economy, and sadly, a lot of the violence in between. It's a small town. It's about 12,000 people. But like a lot of Mississippi towns, it's proud of its football programs, its schools, and its community. But lately, the headline's been different. The last few months, the last couple of days, Mississippi's seen a wave of shooters from Leland, Greenville, Sharkey County, Canton, and even Greenwood, all towns just an hour or 2 within Grenada. And that's what's scary. You can almost draw a circle on the map, and Grenada is sitting right in the middle of it all. When you hear mass shooting at a football game or 4 arrested after a homecoming violence, it might sound like separate events, but when you zoom out, it starts to look connected, not necessarily by people, but by environment. Same schools, same pressure, same age groups. These kids all chasing dreams, sports, music, money, but getting caught up in gunplay before graduation. Now, Grenada's chief last year said, our biggest problem right now is kids getting guns before they get driver license. And that tells you everything you need to know about where the culture is going. So as we look at this story, a young man seen as a local athlete losing his life being named the aggressor, it forced us to ask, are we dealing with isolated incidents, or is this all part of a bigger problem in Mississippi? So now we got that out the way. A Grenada high school football player was found deceased on September 22nd, 2025. According to Grenada Police Department, the GPD said the body was found in a grassy area next to Honeytown Park in the 700 block of Lee Avenue at 11:41 p.m. The Grenada County Coroner's Office identified the body as Aiden Reno, a junior at Grenada. Reno was just 16 years old and was a defensive back on the Grenada football team. At the time, much information wasn't given to the public, but the Grenada football coach did say this statement. He was an outstanding young man and a great teammate. Grenada football coach Michael Fair told Clarion Ledger that there is no doubt he'll be truly missed by not only the football team, but the entire community. The Grenada was 4-0 when he had lost his life, having a game on the 26th, less than a week later. But just a week later, September 29, 2025, the local police department were making arrests. Lamarion Henderson, Ryan Spencer, both 18, another 16-year-old suspect, and a 15-year-old suspect who wasn't identified because of their age.
Shocking crime in Grenada, Mississippi, where a popular 16-year-old football player is murdered and 4 juveniles are facing charges connected to the teen's death.
A 16-year-old Aiden Reno was found shot September 22nd near a neighborhood park in Grenada. He died on the scene. As WREG's Mike Sirianni reports, the murder has even seasoned law enforcement veterans puzzled.
So we just want the community to know that what we're doing as a police department and as a city is that we are staying on this case, and there's still some more work to be done.
Grenada, Mississippi Police Chief George Douglas confirming 4 suspects in the death of 16-year-old Aiden Reno. The Grenada high school football player was found shot here in this grassy field on Lee Street the night of September 22nd. He died here just feet from a neighborhood park.
The family is sad and they're brokenhearted over this. Of course, that's understandable.
The 4 suspects arrested in Reno's death are all males. Lamarion Henderson and Ryan Spencer are 18 years old. One suspect is 16 years old and one is 15 years old. 3 of the suspects are charged with first-degree murder. Ryan Spencer is charged with accessory after the fact. No motive for the teen's death has been given, but according to Chief Douglas, neighbors heard several gunshots on the night Reno was killed. The killing has left those neighbors shaken and Grenada city leaders deeply concerned.
Our mayor, our city manager, this police department, elected officials, the sheriff department.
Chief Douglas not losing sight of the fact that Aiden Reno's death comes just 2 weeks after Delta State University freshman Trey Reed, also from Grenada, was found dead hanging from a tree on the campus of Delta State University.
This community is quite concerned about the situation that happened with Mr. Reed also as well, and extend our support to the family.
For your news leader in Grenada, Mike Sirianni, WREG News Channel 3.
WREG has learned a preliminary hearing is set for all 4 suspects October 14th in Grenada Municipal Court.
They had their day in court by Tuesday, and by nightfall, at least 3 was out on bond, just leaving 1 currently behind bars. The municipal court Judge James Jimmy P. first informed Assistant District Attorney Mike Howey from Mississippi 5th Circuit Court District, as well as the attorneys representing Brown and Spencer, that Henderson and Stewart, both of which were charged with first-degree murder, deliberated design, and had waived their rights to a preliminary hearing. The judge, quoting to Henderson, "I'm going to bend you over to wait for action of the grand jury, and they will determine whether or not there is significant evidence to make you stand trial before a jury of 12 people." Judge Vance then reduced the bond amount from $250,000 to $100,000 apiece. He also said that they will be required to wear electronic monitoring devices if they had bonded out of jail. And the real reason the judge had lowered the bond and gave them a bond in the first place was because of the facts that was presented in front of them. It seemed like these kids might have a chance at self-defense. And I'll tell you why. But nonetheless, this pissed the victim mom off, which you'll later hear. You see, Detective Sergeant Chris Brown, yeah, that was his name, he had took the stand and answered questions regarding the nights of the victim's demise from both attorneys. Brown testified that the officers with the GPD responded to reports of shots fired in the area around 90 minutes prior to discovering the victim's body. It was also revealed that the shooting is believed to be the result of an alleged gun exchange gone bad, and that more than a dozen shell casings were collected for evidence, including .340 caliber and 14 from a high-power AR-15 style rifle, which is what the victim had died from a gunshot wound to his jaw area, and that once the victim's body was discovered, he had 2 9 pistols in both hands. And that was a brief summary of the hour-long testimony. And at that point, Brown's attorney later stated that his client acted in self-defense, saying that Brown and Stewart later made bond according to the city prosecutor, Robbie Willis Wilson. Spencer remains out on his initial $20,000 bond that he made shortly after being arrested on September 30th, while Henderson remains in custody behind bars. All 3 murder suspects, as mentioned, was arrested on the 29th, and all 4 are being charged as adults. A large crowd of the suspect's family and friends were present in the gallery as proceedings were held, and outside the courtroom was the victim's mom.
Into a murder of a 16-year-old high school football player from Grenada, Mississippi. Aiden Reno, who you see there, was found shot to death the night of September 22nd, and police soon charged 3 teens in his death. A preliminary hearing was held in Grenada this morning. WREG's Mike Suriani has been following the story.
The murder of 16-year-old Aiden Reno, with 4 teenagers charged in connection to his murder, continues to send shockwaves through this community. Tuesday's preliminary hearing providing little comfort for the victim's mother.
Everybody in there can look at their child, their brother. I can't look at mine.
Courtney Jones coping with the murder of her 16-year-old son Aiden, a Grenada high school football player who died September 22nd from gunshot wounds. It was learned Tuesday that 18-year-old Lamarian Henderson and a 15-year-old suspect, who we are not identifying, waived their right to a preliminary hearing. Appearing in court were 18-year-old Ryan Spencer, charged with accessory after the fact, and a 16-year-old charged with first-degree murder. A relative of Spencer shocked by the charges against her cousin.
I don't believe it's anything to it on his behalf. Yeah, he just got caught up in the mix at wrong place at the wrong time.
During testimony Tuesday, investigators revealed shell casings from a .40 caliber handgun were found at the crime scene, as well as shell casings from another weapon. Investigators also said the suspects were together prior to Reno's death. It is alleged Reno was attempting to take a weapon from one of the suspects when shots were fired. Investigators say Reno had a weapon in each hand when he was found. Reno's mother trying to process Tuesday's testimony.
We're holding up good because God gets the last say. We don't have no power. My son shouldn't have did what he did, but he didn't deserve to die. God gets the last say.
And the attorney for the 16-year-old charged says his client acted in self-defense.
No prior criminal history, and he's being accused of this murder of very, very scant evidence. And so my concern is just the manner in which the police handled the investigation.
In Grenada, Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Ryan Spencer is already out on bond. The other suspects have bonds ranging from $100,000 to $125,000. All 4 suspects will be bound over to the grand jury.
Now, as far as that story, fam, that's pretty much it. And as more developed, I'll keep you guys updated. Once again, we do want to say rest in peace to the victim and love and condolences to his family. Now, since we're here in Mississippi, fam, those who are interested, I figure I'd give you an update in regards to the mass shootings that happened over the weekend. The same authorities made multiple arrests. 4 people has been arrested in connection with the shooting spree at the Mississippi homecoming football game that killed 6 and injured more than a dozen, according to authorities. Tevion Powell, 29, William Bryant, 29, and Morgan Lattimore, 25, has been charged with capital murder. Latoya Powell, 44, has been charged with attempt murder. Now, of course, we did this video just last episode. I'll leave the link in the bio. But earlier this week, the FBI had announced it was seeking the public's help in locating the 4 individuals connected with the shooting. The following Sunday, the FBI had released photos of 1 female and 3 males shown in surveillance video. Police say other arrests are pending. The shooting occurred around midnight on Main Street in Leland. Mayor John Lee previously told the Post the 4 victims who had died on the scene were identified by the coroner's office. And as of now, they're not saying a motive, but what we can point out is the big age difference. We're talking about adults at high school football games targeting an entire crowd. Maybe for one victim, this may be retaliation. We don't even know if these was the people who was at the game. But I figure I'd give you this update. And this mention, fam, you already know. There's more developed. I'm going to keep you guys updated. We got a lot to talk about in these upcoming videos. And I plan on doing some real work. So I guess we'll wrap this one up. But this was the story of a young man who, according to his people, was an outstanding athlete in high school. 16 years old, gunned down, according to authorities, after allegedly a gun swap gone wrong. He allegedly trying to rob his crew for the firearm, and in return, he was gunned down, shot in his jaw, and allegedly with the firearm on each side. Sending prayers y'all way. Hey fam, bucking somebody for their firearm ain't life. I'm telling you that now. The risk don't outweigh the reward. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And today, I'll catch you guys on the next one.